Welcome to Sister Wives, Season 9, Episode 4, Marriage Counseling Texas Style. This is an episode that John is very excited to share about. It will go down in the history of Sister Wives. It's a very pivotal episode for when you want to pull out all the receipts that Cody has been terrible forever.
Forever.
So it is...
But he makes it very clear at this point...
He does not care.
...about Christine.
Or anyone other than him and what he wants.
Yes.
But he does it with a smile as opposed to a scowl. So very, very different Cody. But it is outrageous the things that he would say with a big old smile. I steamrolled her and I'm not going to apologize for it. And you're like, that's literally terrible. Why does no one ever tell this man that he is an awful human being? And it's like, well, they eventually did. And you know what? He did not like it.
Yeah, but the counselors didn't put him in his place. They
kind
were
of.
No help.
Nancy sort of told him, but it was like he's made of Teflon, and so every time she's like, you didn't listen to her, he's like, no, I didn't. And then Christine had a very normal response, which is to say, I will change everything about how I am feeling. And that will be it. And then they stayed together for another 7 years and then did it. So we start off with this ongoing thing I don't care about, which is Robin looking for the divorce papers. The whole family goes to the lawyer. So by the whole family, I mean Cody and the 4 wives.
Nope.
No? Who wasn't there?
Cody and the 3 wives.
Who wasn't there?
Mary.
Oh, Mary wasn't there. I didn't notice. Sorry, Mary. So Christine and Janelle and Robin all go to this lawyer.
And Cody.
And it, I feel like, I swear we've seen this scene before. And, we're watching these every week, basically, with a few exceptions. Like, we're doing next week's, like, probably tomorrow because I'm going to be out of town. But otherwise, we watch one a week, and we don't watch, like, we're not doing them all in a day. So it's crazy how repetitive they feel, even though... we are,
excuse me.
We are not binging them all in a day where you'd go, like, you binge a show in a day and you go, oh, gee, we just saw this. And you go, well, yeah, but there was supposed to be a month between these 2 episodes. Well, there is a month between these episodes and it still feels unbelievably redundant. So they go there, they explain again the adoption. They want the adoption to happen in Montana, but the people in Montana are like, you, Cody, and the children all live in Nevada. It should be in Nevada. And they're hitting all these blocks. Robin's really absolutely insistent it needs to happen in Montana. She says it's because she wants her ex to have all the opportunities, but that doesn't necessarily ring true, because then... She
also says that they deal with plagues in Montana and don't care.
So they might be more likely. So the lawyer and the judge up there are saying it really needs to happen in Nevada. So they talk to the guy, and the guy's like, we could probably do it in a week if we can really nail him down. And they're like, you're hired. And it's just kind of confusing to me because I'm not totally 100% sure what they decided on that day, because it sounds like exactly the same thing they told us last week and the week before and the week before. So I don't really understand what changed.
But this time on the couch interview, Robin pretends to cry and pretends to hyperventilate.
And have a panic attack. I don't know. Maybe she did. It's just she's so consistently a liar. It's hard to believe anything she says. Same goes for exactly why I don't understand part of what's happening in here, is because there's not a big part of me that doesn't trust that she's telling the truth.
Because she's not.
But what confuses me is their certainty that as soon as they get him, he will sign the papers to give his parental rights. And that seems like a really big gamble. What I heard off show, so everything that's off show, I kind of put at 50%, because I just don't really know. Not that everything on show is true either, but...
like Cody loves his kids and his families.
Jeez. So, is that he hadn't been paying child support, and that there was this issue of them wanting him to split the bill for his accident that Cody was there present for. So, I don't know if any of that's true, but I walked away from that scene being like, okay, I don't really understand what's happening, because I feel like they just keep having the same conversation in different places. And then this time they seemed really excited, and I go, I feel like I thought you were already doing this. Anyway, then we cut over to Cody and Christine. They're going to go to Galveston, Texas, which I have never heard anybody going to Galveston, Texas for things that weren't like something was happening there that they were going for. So for some reason they're going from Nevada. Well, not, they say it's to visit Pat, their old marriage counselor.
That tried to escape them.
That says they're really good friends with, but we basically don't see. So that's a little confusing. And they're taking Nancy with them. The whole thing was convoluted. So I was like, if you're just going to do, like, just, I don't know. So anyway, I'm like, is Galveston paying them to come? Like, what's going on?
I mean, possibly.
It did look more cool than I expected.
Maybe Nevada was paying them to leave.
Right? So they're there for their 22nd anniversary. No way, Cody, that's wrong. It's their 21st anniversary. And he's like Mr. Big Smile this whole episode. It reminds me, there's a sitcom that I have not watched, but I am seeing a lot of TikToks on, which is that it's called Kevin Can Go Blank Himself. And it's a show that's filmed in 2 parts. One is like a 3-camera sitcom, and everyone's laughing and joking, and they have big smiles. And then you see the rest of it through this really dark, gritty lens, single cam filmed. And the idea is how you're supposed to kind of question what you see a sitcom where everyone's laughing and joking, and you're like, this is actually really diabolical. If my husband did this, I would absolutely immediately need a divorce. And that's kind of what watching Cody is like in this episode.
Absolutely.
Because he's got this big smile, and he's laughing and joking. He's got his hand on her knee. He's giving her kisses. But you're like...
And he's like, I will love you when you get in line.
Yeah, it's all very
Love
spooky.
the family.
Yeah, and like, I think at the time...
I don't care what you say or want or need.
At the time, I think we all had an issue with this. I don't think we were all like, gosh, he's so lovely. I think we had an issue with it, but it was more of like, there's an issue and this guy is dense, and now it's through this thing of, this guy is still dumb as a rock.
Is a manipulative...
jerk. Also dumb as a rock. Let's never forget the opportunity to say that he is... because I know that actually, I can say he's evil and awful and terrible. I don't think it'd bother him. If I told him that he was a bad businessman, not very manly and stupid, I think he would...
probably can't get it up for all the wives.
I think he'd be really super offended. So we're going to go with that. So Christine's talking about how almost every day is hard. This is really difficult. She is deeply struggling. The past few years can't be resolved in only a few days. Then we get sort of a like, hey, we're in Galveston. Galveston is it's wiped out every 100 years, which he also says with a big, huge smile. You're like, that's horrible. That's horrible. They got people's livelihoods, their homes, their lives are washed away in storms.
Much
big
like
smiley thing.
Florida through North Carolina right now.
Oh gosh,
we're
Lord
sorry.
Be with them.
Man.
Cody talks about how he loves Pat because Pat is so validated. It makes you feel so good. Nancy, on the other hand, uses words like accountability. Boo. You know what I mean? And he's like, and then he like meets him and he's like, Pat, I think of his validation and Nancy for accountability. And instead of that raising some like red flags for Pat as like, well, I shouldn't just be here just telling you that you're right. Like that's not, like validation is a big part of therapy. Those are the only
people he keeps around. Just saying.
So Pat gives him a big hello, welcome, and gives him a gift. And we don't see Pat again for the rest of the episode till the end.
We see her stupid gift, though.
Oh, gosh. Pat, never again. So Nancy takes him out to the beach and talks about the idea of drawing lines in the sand. And then they draw a line in the sand. And then they talk about what is their line in the sand. And Cody says that his big thing is that I love and adore and cherish each wife, and every other wife needs to understand that. And then she asks him to draw a line about something, and then he says how...
Which they should play over and over and over every time he says, I never loved her.
Yeah, and so that so he says something...
Sorry.
And he complains about how whenever Christine and I are having fun, she's like, let's talk about our relationship. Boo! And I was like, I mean, John and I have hard conversations. Well, first of all, we would not, if there was a hard conversation to have, we would not put it off. We are not those people, right?
I mean, we wouldn't have it at dinner in public.
No, but like if there's something that needs to be said, we're just not put it off people. I'm not going to say that we never put anything off, but the idea of us just having something that needs to be talked through and we're just like, well, we're just going to pretend it's not the case, it would eat us both alive. So we would sit down and be like, get the kid off to school and sit down and be like, okay, when you did this, it made me feel this way, or we need to figure this out, or whatever.
We deal with it.
But it's also extremely likely that if we were at dinner, we would get up and leave and go deal with it. So like this idea of like, you have this big problem and you just don't talk about it is crazy to me.
Well, also, neither of us have 3 other spouses that we can just ignore one and go to the others and pretend like the one doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's just crazy how he's like, our relationship is bad and she wants to talk about it. Boo, boo. You're just like, this dude, I'm shocked. Well, okay, I am not shocked that he has 1 wife now.
Yeah, right.
Instead of 4. I'm just shocked that he managed to have it work for so long.
Yeah.
And I think it's because exactly what we see in this episode, which is he puts the big goofy smile on, pretend he doesn't understand, and laughs. And everyone just let him get away with it for a long time. And they were all in a cult, and the options weren't particularly great in a cult. And I think of many of the people in the cult, he had the biggest smile, he was the most charismatic, and they got fooled into thinking that that was really his nature, that he was nice and kind and funny, and he was not. So they do this exercise, they draw a line in the sand, and he's like, I love you all, blah, blah, blah. And they do talk about how and one of the things he does say is, because I've lost her trust, we've lost intimacy. I had not remembered this. But the implication here is that what we saw when she left, where he was like, I'm not going to have intimate relations with you. Yeah. And I have said, I kind of think that he just didn't have the vigor to maintain an intimate relationship with 4 women. We know that, according to Mary, in the first couple seasons of the show, he had to put her on an iceberg and shove her out to ocean and did not have intimate relations with her. And it sounds like he's had issues with Christine for a while. I would like to know, I don't want to know, but I kind of do, exactly how much sex Christine was getting for all these years. Because I wonder if it hasn't always been like 8 times a year until he finally kind of couldn't even keep up that routine.
Which, pro tip, is a sexless marriage.
Yeah, under 10 times a year. Sexless marriage.
By definition.
We had to Google it.
We didn't make it up.
Yeah, trust me. Not me. We did Google it because we were talking about sister wives. Just to be clear, sister wives. And I Googled what defines a sexless marriage. And I guess I pictured that a sexless marriage would have less sex in it. That's still roughly every 6 weeks. I thought it would be like once a year. I thought sexless was very, very literal. Captain Literal over here. Apparently it is not. Apparently it means you can still be having sex every couple months and it's still considered sexless. So I wonder if that would work for people who are waiting till marriage. Be like, no, we have a sexless relationship and they only mean like 8 times a year. What do you know? Hey, hit me up in the comments and let me know.
I don't know. Don't. Please don't.
So she's saying basically they had this lack of intimacy. They say in Utah she lost her faith in the principal. She was really jealous. She was really angry. Then they show a bunch of pictures of Robin. So I'm sure those two weren't at all connected. And
surprise, surprise, Cody says he shut down, or it was said he shut down completely after she said she hates polygamy.
And she's like,
instead of being like, maybe I'm bad at this with this wife. What can I do to improve? No way.
Yeah, and his point is, he's like, she was like, I don't like you, but I'm not leaving. And I'm like, oh, eventually. Then we see Grandma Annie with the kids talking about, and then we see Janelle at some point with her kids. And it's just so clear to me that both of those scenes are 1,000 times more authentic than anything we're getting from Cody and Robin. The kids are like cleaning up, they're bickering with each other, they're annoying each other. Janelle's like, you guys cut it out. Just
the moms
stop
are annoyed.
It. Yeah, Grandma's annoyed. Truly's walking around being like, that looks disgusting, like for dinner. She's like, I'm not going to eat that. I'm going to have a carrot. And ignoring Peyton. Like, it's all just so much more authentic than anything we're seeing now. And so then they go to the next thing. Well, at some point in here, they went to a pirate museum. I did not write it down because it wasn't. And Cody talks like a pirate the whole time. About lost my mind.
So annoying.
You know, he really... I think what bothers me is how self-satisfied he is with everything he does. He is having a great week, taking no accountability, and throwing Christine underneath the bus every time. It's all about how she's not good enough for the family. She doesn't support the family. So they go out to the beach.
It's their anniversary, but he makes the whole thing about the family, which I think in this context is
Robin
is secret for him.
Robin and Janelle. I don't think Mary.
Well, I think he just means.
Well, he sees himself as the center of this family. So when he says family, he means Cody.
Yeah,
that's what he means.
That's what I mean.
There we go. We got there. We had to think about how to phrase it, but we got there. So they go to the beach. They go to this rock thing, and Nancy says, "I would like you to build a rock tower that represents your relationship
with the family."
No, she does not say that. She says your relationship. It could be about how many years you've been together. It can be about how many children you have that you have together.
So the family.
So immediately Cody just starts building. He's like, well, we're going to have
22 rocks.
We're going to have 22 rocks. And Christine keeps saying, well, I think it's supposed to be about us. Well, what if it was about this? What was it about that? I did not realize Nancy was sitting there the whole time until we get to the end.
What a useless...
And there's all these cutaways of Cody being like, no, this is my vision. And Christine being like, it's supposed to be about us. We are here to talk about our relationship and the problems we're having with our relationship. And he just blows her by.
And Nancy being a hind tit on a bull. I mean, useless.
So what she says is, it's really interesting to watch you because I see Christine trying to communicate with you and saying it 3 or 4 times and you ignoring her.
Cue the scummy smile.
And he goes, yes, I bulldozed her. And you know what? I'm not sorry about it because I just had a really clear idea. I was the leader and I was going to get what I wanted. And that's kind of it. He puts a big smile on his face. I think I thought when I first saw this...
Cue the self-deprecating, delusional Christine.
Well, when I first saw this, I think I thought, this guy is so dumb. And while I have not changed my opinion on this, I do think that he knows that that works. He does the big smile, he does what he wants, and everyone just maneuvers around him and gives him what it... Because that's what happened. He got what he wanted.
Yep.
So, and he's like, I knew what she wanted. I wasn't going to let her do those things. And then Christine's like, can't you just be present with me? These were not said to each other. These were said in interviews to us. And Cody's just fine with it. He's like, I wasn't going to let her. I knew what she wanted, and I just decided to do what I wanted instead. Big old smile, and it worked for him. I mean, here's the deal. I can sit here and say how this is terrible and awful, and I would. John was saying if he was around Cody and that kind of thing was said, you know, or a partner, since you wouldn't be married to Cody, was that you'd be like, okay, so then I guess we're breaking up because you clearly don't care about hearing anything I have to say or how I feel, so I'm not really sure what we're doing here, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's very clear. It's very clear.
And he said, I railroaded you, and I'm not sorry. And then we have a cutaway of Christine just saying, you know, he thinks I don't love the family, but I think I've proven I do. Okay. And...
Well, I mean, Q, he says the family, and he doesn't care about the family either. He just means do what I want and roll over and do what I want and shut up.
Yeah, and then don't worry because Cody does learn something. So that'll be the last thing he goes and talks to Pat, and he says this earth-shattering news. You've never heard it before. It's the first time you've ever even heard of this concept.
Brace yourselves.
Which is that sometimes he needs to, that he can't just be mad when he said, normally I don't want to validate or be around their depression, their sadness, their jealousy, but I'm realizing...
Or be a partner is what, in effect, he's saying.
He's like, but I'm realizing maybe I should. Now, I don't think he does.
Never.
But he's really blown away by this concept that maybe you validate your partner's feelings. And then he said, another wife told me, you know, when I'm laying down in hell, you have to lay here with me. I'm really curious who said that because I do not think it was Janelle. It does not sound like Janelle. It could be Mary, but we know he's not laying with her. So I wonder if it was Robin. Okay. And then we get a long message from Christine because Christine's learned a lot. If she changes everything about her fundamentally, Cody still won't love her. But she's going to do it anyway.
Exactly.
He will tolerate her as he continues to make his life with only one partner.
Mm-hmm. For a while.
But that's the big takeaway. Cody has learned that he should validate people's feelings, but I don't think he actually does. Christine learns that nothing she says or feels ever matters. And Cody's never going to change. But at least he'll stop complaining. And, you know,
end.
What more could you ask for in a marriage? I know when I was a little girl, I thought maybe one day I'll have a guy who cares nothing about me. And this whole time he's like holding her leg. He's like, I'm going to railroad you. And I don't care. Kisses. No. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Another brutal episode, but we can all laugh about it together. Have a good day. Bye.